Oh, you turn it on.
How do I turn it on?
Power button on the side.
Yes, yes.
Did you get the thing out of it?
Estás.
Oh.
Oh, hey, looky. Porque.
Can you roll your R's?
Hey, looky there.
I can't.
Oh, you're dead.
Turn this way.
How hard? I tried.
This would be your next slide, just so you can see.
Rico!
They don't need to see that part.
Yeah, I know.
Okey doke. Cross the room, I'm gonna get that for me. Sweet. Very
Can
good.
you do the thing for
Hi, guys.
Bright?
Let me see if there's
How
anything.
y'all doing?
No, you're fine.
Oh my gosh, the cookies smell good.
It tastes good too.
I guess we're waiting for a couple more people here.
Sorry, that's me and Amber talking about the chocolate chip cookie. in my mouth. Sorry.
Wait, we have chocolate chip cookies?
For dessert later. I had to test them out. names.
Oh, so you're,
Taste tester.
That's good. They're good. They're good.
Taste tester.
Alright.
taste testers.
We're good, everybody's here.
We're good. Awesome. So how's everybody been doing this weekend? Good? Having a good time? Yeah?
Yep.
Awesome. So I'm Frankie Amaya. Done this a few times with Amber. First time I've been out here though. It's been, you guys have a nice little accommodations going on. How many people know transgendered people in their lifetime? Nice. I love it.
All right, I just go up.
That's awesome. I love that. So you guys are all kind of familiar. Do you guys like? Ready to shut that off? I was gonna get yelled at because I'm gonna give her crap about it, and then I shut it off. So you all know transgender people in your life. Are they friends? Are they family? Do you just know them in passing? Friends? Family? Okay. I know two of you are trans. Anybody else? You're trans as well? Nice. And Stevie?
Oh, gender's a thing. I don't know what it is anymore.
Okay. Nice. And that's okay. So the one thing that is, and next door, some of you weren't there. The one thing about trans is it's amazing is that you don't have to be on testosterone. You don't have to be on estrogen to be trans. If you identify, you can identify as whoever you want to. You don't have to take that road if you don't want to. Sexual orientation isn't black and white. Very few people are 100% anything these days. Again, my name is Francisco Amaya. I was born as Francesco Amaya. I'm 42 years old and I am an FDM transgender. My goal in this life is to educate people and possibly change individuals' perspective on transgender human beings. It's exactly what we are. We're human beings, just like everybody else. I decided that I was going to transition when I was 39-ish. I grew up in a small town in Nebraska. Yeah, chubby cheeks, all that good fun stuff. That was me. Only child. My mom and dad had, my mom had 21 brothers and sisters, my dad had 19 brothers and sisters. It's a big damn family. They decided I was it, and I was okay with that. Mom and dad, they had a little girl. Mom's pride and joy. I was put into pageants. Miss America preteen pageant. I was voted Miss Photogenic out of 250 girls. Talk about uncomfortable. Even back then, I knew something was off. But I did not, I mean, I can remember when I was a little kid, when I was little like this, not that, but like this, thinking there was a movie, it's Molly, so I can't even remember, but I remember it was a movie where this little girl wished on a star, and she wished that she was gonna be a boy. And she woke up the next day, and she was. that I wished on so many freaking shooting stars, it was ridiculous. I can't even tell you how many shooting stars I wished on. I wanted to be a boy. But as I grew up, like I said, they put me on in beauty pageants, all the other fun stuff, long hair. I had hair that went down to my ankles. Mom wouldn't let me cut it. It was ridiculous. But I still knew something was off. When I was 18, I think I broke your thingy. There it is. Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna put that there for now. When I was 18, I came out to my parents as being a lesbian. My dad lost it. He took everything, and my bedroom was downstairs, and he took everything and put it in a pile in the middle of my room. Kicked me out of the house. Mom and dad got into a fight. My mom found me in an apartment. I was 18 years old and living on I was an only child. I was spoiled rotten. Like, I literally had everything. But at that point, I lost my dad. And then that was me in my senior year of high school. Finally got to cut the hair. That was my best friend, Ben. No, we were not in a relationship. And that was us for prom. Trying to fit in. Always trying to fit in. Trying to make mom and dad happy. Trying to fit in with the best friend. Definitely very uncomfortable. When I just turned 21, I moved out to Colorado. Found out what the lesbian scene was like, so it was coming out here, and man, I lived it up. Ended up being the best lesbian any lesbian ever had. I told my mom and dad, I used to joke with them, I said, well, if there was ever a prom king, I was definitely that of the lesbians out here in Colorado. Still didn't know, I didn't even know what trans was. I had no clue. So, gotta remember in, 1993, that was unheard of, and I'm in a small town in Nebraska, Scottsville, Gary, Nebraska. Being gay was already bad, being a lesbian was already bad, but, I had no clue what trans was. So, I grew up as a lesbian. What else is on? Okay. About, like I said, I was 38 when I finally decided I'm gonna be trans. I'm trans. I'm gonna be trans. I'm trans. I'm finally gonna come and be exactly who I'm supposed to be. So I had no clue where to start. No clue where to go. I did a lot of Facebook searching on groups on Facebook, trying to figure out how do I get started. And then finally found a gender doctor, and they, asked me a whole bunch of questions. Why do you think you're trans? What makes you want to be a male? Blah blah blah, all this other fun stuff. I'm like, I think I wanted to be a male my whole entire life. I just didn't give myself that opportunity. I didn't know, that was a thing. So instantly, well, I'm not gonna hold you back anymore. Here's your TLET. Now, you guys know transgender people. Do you guys know the the timeline or way things have to happen in order to transition? How many of you guys know that? And? Okay. Remember you? Hi. It's good seeing you again. I was like, no. Okay. Okay, so it starts out with gender doctor. Luckily I found somebody in Florida. She does everything over Skype. So I literally had her in my back pocket. She instantly gave me my testosterone letter. And I went and found a doctor here in Colorado, Dr. Anna Weigleiner, who gave me my first shot of T. Best day of my life. So you get your testosterone letter, so timeline. Testosterone letter, doctor, they do blood work, give you your testosterone, and you guys know, so you guys kind of know transgender, so you know F to M, male, male to female, okay? So testosterone is for male, vice versa. So I got my first T shot and started going down that road. and started seeing changes, happy changes. They were slow, but they were there. And so I finally started going where I was supposed to go. When I was 40, 40, I had my first surgery, my first top surgery. There was 2 surgeries that I needed to have. One of them was the keyhole procedure. Do you guys know the difference in top surgeries? No? So there's 2 different types of surgeries. Top surgery can be, so some of you probably have seen trans guys where they have straight scars across their chests. The other surgery is keyhole procedure. So those of us that have had smaller chests can do a keyhole procedure. That's when they go in, so I don't use that, but you go in under the nipple and they take everything out that way, and then they sew you back up. That leads to no scars. I don't have the big scars across my chest. I just had a little scar underneath my nipple. So that needed 3 months to heal. After that, I had to go back in to have the nipples resized. So they went in, cut them off, resized them, put them back on. I have no scars. I look like any other cis male. A lot of people go either one way or the next. Some trans guys, they don't have a choice. They had a bigger chest, so they had to have the scars. They didn't have a choice. Some of us are lucky if we want to go the other route and have a keyhole procedure done, so you never knew I had a chest. To get rid of the binders and the dysphoria from having a chest, best day ever. I mean, if you're looking and you're in my shoes, having those, having the breasts on your body that made you feel so uncomfortable and so dysphoric and make you not happy, to have those gone was amazing. So that happened, and then the name change happened. I spoke in the class next to us. So the people that are trans, have you done your name change?
Officially now.
No? And you haven't yet. So I was saying next door, and this goes to anyone, if you have family, friends, if you are trans and you just aren't ready to make that leap, I'm gonna make sure Amber gets all of my information so that if you need any help with anything, you can reach out to me. Like I said, next door, with the new administration that we have, right now is the time to jump on getting your name changed. I can't tell you how long that opportunity will be there for us to do. The administration is doing everything they can right now to take a lot of our rights away. So the name change in itself can be lengthy, but it can also go smoothly. For me, the name change, I think I did it about a year ago. It actually went fairly quick. Even though I was born in Nebraska, so I had to have the paperwork sent to Nebraska to get a new birth certificate. But I didn't have to go in front of a court. I have FBI, CDI paperwork that I got back within 3 days. The process can actually go fairly quick if you know the right route to take it. So if you need any help with that, more than happy to help out with that. There's some of the difference. That's 5 years apart. Before I barely started growing some facial hair, and that's me now. And then that's 3 years. So you can kind of see the difference as far as face. So you go, everything starts filling out. So thinner, and then you can kind of see the roundness, obviously the facial hair. I can't cover it, but I can be around without a shirt. So it's pretty nice to be able to be free like that. Then there's also from female to male, driver's license to get your gender changed on your driver's license. Super easy. Your doctor fills out a form, you take it to the DMV, it changes from either M to F or F to F. It's super easy. Once you get your paperwork from the courts, you get your name changed on there like I am. Best day is going and being able to know that, you know, I don't have to worry about anything as far as my gender or my name is anymore. It's finally taken care of, so that's pretty nice. And I get the opportunity to come and talk to people like you. Everything as far as transgendered is concerned, as far as taking the steps, it can be so freeing because you're actually honoring yourself and you're actually accepting yourself and not really making, but asking other people to accept you as well. Friends, family, you know, co-workers, anything. You're wanting the respect and hoping that they can give you that respect as well. So, that's kind of my journey here in a nutshell. What?
Were you like in school when you were transitioning?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I'm 42. I started transitioning when I was 38, 39. Yeah, no, I'm old. Any other questions?
I feel like I had one, but I have since forgotten. Apologies.
No, no worries. That's what, I mean, I'm here for anything that you got. Shoot.
What was the toughest part of the process?
The in between. Going from this where everybody in my life saw me as a lesbian or female, going from that and watching the stages to where I'm finally here. Correcting people when they called me she or her. No, sir, he. That was always the hardest part, looking in the mirror and not seeing the changes fast enough. When I first started testosterone, it took about a year for me to even start seeing just little hairs on my face, hearing my voice crack. My voice is so much lower than it used to be. It used to be very high. It's lower now, but when I was transitioning, I'd hear my voice crack. Or talking to somebody, I would hear my voice crack. It would be low for a minute, and next thing you know, it's all super high. It's going into the men's restroom. That's still difficult, even though I pass completely. But I haven't had all the surgeries. I'm not completely where I want to be. So I still have hard times right now. I still have dysphoria now, but definitely the in between. I heard you guys dancing and partying, so I know there's more in here. Anybody? I'm here to answer anything.
How do you cope with the relationships that are not supportive?
So, okay, I guess I didn't really talk about mom and dad. When I was transitioning, it was transitioning for 2 years before I came out to my mom and dad. Again, only child. My mom had 21 brothers and sisters. My dad had 19 brothers and sisters. So they came from big families. I was transitioning for 2 years and I was terrified. More terrified to lose my dad than I was my mom. But still, the loss of them was gonna be hard. When I came out to my dad, went home, now I had made sure that I had shaved. I had 2 years of growth, so I actually had quite a bit of facial hair. But I shaved and made sure that it was just skin, no facial hair. Went to Deadwood for my dad's birthday every year. We go to Deadwood for his birthday, and spent the time with him on the weekend. We came back on Sunday, and I said, Dad, I need to have a talk. Can we go have a talk? And he's like, okay. So we went downstairs in the basement, and I said, I have been hiding something from you. I need to let you know that I'm transitioning into a male. And he looked at me, and I said, I'm terrified of losing you, and that's why I haven't said anything. He looked at me and he said, I love you. He gave me a hug, and he said, I love you, son. And that was the best moment I could have had. My mom, I said, okay, now I gotta go tell Mom. He's like, no matter what, you have it. So I went upstairs and I asked Mom if I could have a talk with her, and I told her, I need you to know that I'm transitioning into a male. And I shaved for this trip, but I won't shave again. She told me that, why didn't you tell me? And I said, I was afraid of losing you guys. And she said, I said, this is me, and I understand if you don't accept me. She's like, I didn't have a son. I had a daughter. That's all I had as a daughter. I will not accept you as a son. And I said, well, this is me, so if you don't accept me, no, I understand, but, you know, this is me. And she cried, and she was upset, and at that point, I felt like I definitely lost my mom. And the truth of it is my dad was the one that I was terrified of losing. My mom and I have never really been close, and I can get into that in a minute, but I knew that if I had lost her, I was gonna be okay. So we're a year later, and my dad, my best friend, he's my biggest supporter, well, besides, you know, these guys, but, right here, I don't need that anymore. He's my biggest supporter. Son, Keitho, I love you, text messages all the time. My mom is still, she's coming around. She still calls me she. Even looking like this, she still calls me she. She has her moments where she actually does correct herself, but we're better than what we were. It was hard. It was definitely hard. How are you with your family?
You just don't believe.
What was that?
You just don't believe.
So you're still living at home
Well, yes. We're not in college.
when you're not in college?
We're not unsupported, but they're not on board.
Are you the only child? Oh, wow.
I'm one of four, so.
So the one thing that I can pass on is that you are incredible and you are amazing for choosing yourself and choosing to take care of you. Sometimes we lose the people, our family members, and sometimes they just can't accept it. But the one thing that you have to remember is you are living your life for you. And your happiness is what matters. I know it's hard when we lose the people that we think that are supposed to support us the most and are supposed to be there and supposed to protect us. But you're gonna find out, and this is the one thing that I learned on my own, is that you, I'm sorry, guys.
No?
You're gonna find that you're gonna gain so much more family from so many other people that are going to be there. We may end up losing our mom, we may end up losing our dad, we may end up losing our brother or our sister, but you're gonna gain so many more family members down the road. And the fact that you're transitioning when you're young, you have the world at your fingertips. And you, just looking at you, you're beautiful, honey. You've got a full life ahead of you. So grab it and just take control of it, cause you're gonna do amazing, guys, cause you are choosing me. Any other questions? Besides one that's yours?
Did your mom do any, like research on her own, or do you help her with that research to help her come around, or has that just been something that's been kind of natural for her?
What was that? I'm sorry?
Your mom starting to come around, has she like sought out literature or research or anything like that?
Hell
Or is
no.
it- Okay. Have you been talking to her through that, or is it just kind of a natural progression?
So my mom and my dad, and I have never been close. My mom, Catholic, so you were in the next group. When I was younger, I was molested by 5 uncles. 3 on my mom's side and 2 on my dad's side. When I came out and I told my mom and dad, my dad lost it, and my dad just wanted to kill everybody. My mom, and this is one of the reasons why I am, it didn't matter if it came or went, I would have been okay if I would have kept my mom or if we would have separated. She told me that I needed to learn how to get over it. I needed to learn how to forgive and forget they're my family and I'm supposed to love them. That wasn't the right answer for me, unfortunately. So we kind of, we drifted apart, and like I said, it would have been okay whether I would have kept her or not. As far as her, like, educating herself, my mother is stubborn. You cannot tell her, you can't tell her the sky is blue without her fighting with you on it. She tries to ask you how you're doing, but she's really leading into a way to talk to herself or change the subject. There's no way of really educating her. My dad flat out accepted me. My dad, I love you, you're my son. We will go out and my dad will introduce me as his son. My dad is there. Educating, yeah. And they come from a small town in Nebraska. They don't try. Well, my dad tries, but my mom, she could care less. So. Anybody? Good questions. So, how far are you in your transition? Are you on?
No, it's a large decision, like whether I want to or not, because I'm gender fluid.
Okay.
And that means it's like, some months I'm masculine, some months I'm androgynous, some months, I don't know. So it's like, it's a decision that I have to make whether I want to or not. And I know that I haven't done enough research on what testosterone does to, like, the female body, because I need to find out whether or not I'll be able to get off of testosterone after I take testosterone if I decide to.
So, and that's why I started saying what I did when we first started, that you don't have to be on testosterone or estrogen to be trans. There's no rules to transgender. There's no rules to any form of sexuality, and that's the reason why I said, gender isn't black and white. Nobody's 100% anything these days. I'm only straight, I'm only bi, I'm only, starting on testosterone, what it's going to do. When you saw me, what I looked like in that red shirt, you're gonna start, your voice will drop, stop your periods, facial hair everywhere, not just facial hair everywhere. I'm a fuzzy guy. You will distribute fat in different areas of your body. So if you have hips, the fat there will move to your stomach. Gaining muscle mass, you gain muscle mass quick. Some guys start losing their hair. I'm far from having that happen. My dad's got a full head of hair. He's 65. My mom has a full head of hair. She's 60. So I don't really see that happening. I said voice drop. Everybody's different as far as, so you do stop your period. Then you go to the other avenue. You're on testosterone and you decide you want to stop it. The only way to stop the body growth is to have it electrolysis and have it removed. I have seen F2Ms decide that they did not want to transition anymore, that it was, and that's what I was saying, I kind of forgetting what I said next door and I'm saying in here. Some people start transitioning and finding out that it's too hard. They're not ready to live that life every single day, because the in-between, where did that go? The in-between, so from here to here, and all of this in the middle, that's when you have to figure out, is this really what you want? Because here, I'm saying I'm male. Here, I'm saying I'm male, but I still have a high-pitched voice. I don't have facial hair. When people see me, they see lesbian or female. Did I have it in me to keep pushing along and correcting people when they said she, correcting people when, her or Francesca? No, that's not me. No, that's not me. Then you get to that sweet part where you feel like you passed. And really the main part about all of it is, do you accept yourself and accept the journey that you're taking for you? So, I understand that I don't know what it's going to be, or am I prepared for it? The dysphoria is hard. Before I had top surgery, man, I was uncomfortable. I didn't want to be touched. I didn't want to be seen naked, obviously. I was 38 and I did not know what I was doing as a transgender individual. I came from Scottsbluff, Gary, Nebraska.